Howie Roseman puts together a fantastic roster every year, but it comes down to going into training camp. It comes down to competition. It comes down to the preseason games, and it comes down to cuts at the end of the day for a lot of these players. We're going to be talking about the top 6 Philadelphia Eagles players that really need to make a big push for a roster spot and really need to improve. There might be more on the list that you guys maybe disagree with, maybe agree with, but these are my top 6 as of right now. So let's get straight into it.
A killer buried, but not dead.
Darren, we better turn around. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what is going on, guys? I'm Horror having a fantastic day today and a fantastic month waiting on the schedule next week and OTAs at the end of the month. So the offseason is going by real quick and we'll be in training camp before you know it. But speaking of training camp and speaking of specific players that I really want to make a big push, maybe necessarily that didn't have a great year last year or didn't get enough playing time or maybe was injured in the offseason or just didn't do much at all. These are the players I think that really need to make a big push, okay? From pretty important to least important, but I think these 6 guys, no specific order or anything like that, really need to make big strides to impress this coaching staff. And we're going to start with the first one here. Keely Ringo, okay, new year, new number at number 7. Take your Hassan Reddick jerseys and, start getting them fixed up. Save yourself a little bit of money going forward. Keely Ringo, obviously, been here for a couple years already, and, it's just to a point now. We don't know what's happening at this cornerback 2 position, okay? What we already kind of imagine now is that Keely Ringo will be in competition with the Dory Jackson. Signing a veteran like a Dory Jackson I thought was a really good move because at least it gets you some protection. At least it gives you a safety blanket at the outside corner spot if you really need it. Obviously, Cooper DeJean is holding down that inside corner spot. There's obviously McWilliams and some of these other guys will be competing on the inside, at least for a depth perspective there. But when it comes to the outside, I can't say that Keely Ringo is going to be a good player, is going to be a bad player. He hasn't really had the opportunity, but I'm not going to write him off. I want him to have the opportunity and come this training camp to really fight for that job. And I really hope that he gets the job as the number 2. Okay, we know Quinyon Mitchell is locking down that number 1 spot. And yeah, I know Eagle fans have been back and forth. There's kind of an Eagle civil war when it comes to Keely Ringo because the times he's in, sometimes he doesn't do great. And the times that he's not playing, maybe they think the coaching staff doesn't like him in some case. But I think Christian Parker absolutely loves Keely Ringo. Remember what AJ Brown said last offseason in the training in the program last year in the offseason that, this is a player you have to watch out for because Keely Ringo plays physical and he's got the best receivers to go against every single day as well as these other cornerbacks do. Iron sharpens iron, so you have to think about it in that way. But if you put him in a situation where he's facing Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown every single practice, we're going to find out the truth pretty quick about Keely Ringo. And I really hope that he really makes a big push because we really need it. Not saying that Adoree Jackson's, a bad player. And obviously we've taken players from the Giants and turned them into pretty good players, starting out with obviously James Bradbury that had a pretty good year with the Eagles. And I didn't think he was going to do much of anything. Saquon Barkley, look what that turned out to be. So Adoree Jackson is a nice safety blanket for this team, can play outside, inside, hasn't really played inside since he was with Tennessee, as well as an outside corner. So you have that versatility there. But with Ringo, I think people are questioning, obviously, just his man-to-man coverage, maybe a better zone corner. His hips aren't really fluid too much. He's a statue at times in coverage when he turns around. The back end coverage. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm really rooting for this kid 100%. He's number 1 on my list that really needs to make a push, and I hope he does a good job there. Now, we're going to be talking about, obviously, the receivers, okay, a couple of receivers, honestly, and number 2 on my list is going to be Anniiah Smith, okay? Anniiah Smith, unfortunately, I mean, really going into last offseason in 24, we were looking for the number 3 receiver. This was before the Jahan Dotson trade. And Anniiah Smith didn't really show much of anything, man. I mean, I got to say, I mean, he ended up getting hurt in the offseason program, which any rookie that gets hurt in the offseason program, you're just going to have to fight your way back up for another season, because as soon as you miss that time as a rookie, you're just going down the wrong road and you're going to be playing catch up. Okay, as a punt returner, he didn't look great. His vision looked horrible. He fumbled out of bounds on a preseason game. As a wide receiver, didn't really get too many chances. I mean, realistically, I called him the wide receiver speed demon, because he can catch in traffic, and at 5'9", 190 something pounds, he's like a perfect size for that wide receiver 3 spot. But I didn't know what was going to happen last year. Unfortunately, just he needs like a really big off season. The wide receiver depth is not really that great. There's a lot of what ifs on this team. I mean, with Johnny Wilson, you got Taylor Moore, an undrafted free agent that's got some speed. Giles Jackson, they signed off a tryout, a lot of speed. Terrace Marshall is a veteran pretty much. I think a former first round or second round pick, something like that. So, if somebody goes down, at least you have Jahan Dotson to move to the outside, but, who's going to play that inside spot, or who is another guy that can play on the outside? And hopefully Anniiah Smith can make somewhat of a push and can look better than last year. I think this is really Anniiah Smith's last chance to really turn on the Jets and really get some attention from this coaching staff. So I think that's another one that I'm really striving for, to make a big push, because depth at wide receiver, I think, still needs... We need some productivity there, okay? Johnny Wilson we'll get into, because, in the beginning we were like, maybe they'll switch him to tight end. Maybe they'll do something like that. Johnny Wilson, that's almost 6'7", big frame, good contested catching. The problem is he's had a drop issue. I mean, I think the Eagles have a lot of favor in him, because look, to throw him in a Super Bowl for one play and target him one time, it was obviously a drop, but it seems like they have a lot of favor with him so far. The last person we had at this size that we tried to be successful in the league, especially off our team, was Tyree Jackson at tight end. And unfortunately, he couldn't stay off the injury report. But with now Johnny Wilson, I think you're looking for, a nice step up this year. I mean, I would love for a guy his size at almost 6'7", wide arm span. I mean, you want someone like this at that size to go in. And, I'm not looking for him to get so much separation, because I don't think he's the fastest guy. But, out of college, he's one of the best contested catchers in the league at Florida State. And, you know what I mean? I think he could do a lot more than what he's capable of. And obviously a rookie year, really raw, and just needs more work. And I think another offseason program under his belt is really going to help him going forward. So Johnny Wilson is the guy that's, a project right now. But I think with another offseason, we might see some better things from him going forward. So I love Johnny Wilson. We'll see what happens with him, and a lot of good things to come, hopefully, at the wide receiver spot. 2 receivers that I really do like that need to make a step up there. Now, another player that we're going to talk about is obviously Will Shipley, okay? Now, you've added some competition to the room. I mean, other than Saquon Barkley, you signed A.J. Dillon coming off a neck injury that he hasn't played since December of 23. So he's been out for a long time, and hopefully he can stay healthy in the offseason program, okay? I know you have Montrell Johnson, you have Shaderick Powell, the undrafted free agents as well, so those guys will make some strides to make this roster. I think the Eagles, I think they keep 3 on the active roster, and maybe they add 1 or 2, maybe 1, I don't know, depending on how many they want to keep on practice squad. But Will Shipley, man, I mean, we didn't see much, but we saw something, okay? Out of the couple games, when the Eagles had some big leads, the one was the Washington game. I think it was the NFC Championship game where you kind of ran downfield a little bit. I forgot the other game that he was in as well, where they really started to really show him in the open field as a receiver. making catches on stride, him one-on-one in open space. Will Shipley is good. Okay, him running with the football in general, he's very average with it because I think he just runs in a straight line. Like, I don't really see him make any jump cuts or things like that if it's an inside handoff. But let me tell you something. You throw to him on stride as a receiver, a receiving back, or you just use him in general on a just a dump off pass in open space. He showcases what he could do, almost like another Danny Woodhead of the league. And I think that's what he could really turn into. I think something is there with Will Shipley. And as a 4th round pick, like, I think he's making, I think he's made progress last year. But, the type of year you had at running back, you're not expecting him to get a lot of handoffs and a lot of attention. So I think this is a perfect moment for him to really showcase all of his talents in another offseason program and, maybe make a push for that number 3 running back spot. I would absolutely love it. I'm a big fan of Will Shipley. I liked him coming out of college, and when we drafted him, I was pretty happy. So very stoked about it, and I think we're ready to do some good things going forward. So very happy with that. Now, I think lastly, and I messed up my counting on this because I thought it was top 5 Eagles, by the way. I put somebody's name in twice, which was a mistake. Now, Sidney Brown. Okay. Another player, as of Keely Ringo, they needs to get more reps, and we've seen Sidney Brown. Okay, when we drafted him and he got playing time, we've seen him in coverage, we've seen him in open field tackling, heat-sinking missile, we used to call him. And this past year, obviously, he came, the year before, coming off of a ACL, and then had a concussion and missed some time and finally got back. And as a special teamer, he's absolutely fantastic. But I think this is another player, as of like Keely Ringo, that just needs to be put into that spot, get reps, and he will compete. I understand that you draft Andrew Makuba. Okay, Makuba is far more from looking at the tape even more the last few weeks, is far more a upgrade over Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, especially in back end coverage. It's the toughness is there, the motor is there, moving him all over the field. It's all there. He could do almost anything. We have a size difference at safety, but Sidney Brown though is got versatility. Okay. He could play corner, he could play safety, but I think they want to keep him as a safety. It was a couple games last year where he missed some open field tackles, and that's the way he's used to playing because he's not playing enough safeties. He's on kickoffs and he's running down there as fast as he can. He's trying to make open field tackles, and obviously he missed a couple in a couple games. People got pissed off over it, and people think that he can't play. I think this is just another opportunity for us fans to really look at Sidney Brown and say, I think they just got to put him in that spot and put it all on him at safety and see what he could do. I actually, when he got drafted as a rookie, I thought he actually did pretty well. I think his coverage was pretty good, but it kind of has stalled a little bit because he's not really getting the reps at that position anymore. And he's had a couple injuries, not concussion, like I said, ACL. So it's hard to come off of and get back to your normal self. But you never know what you have here. I don't like Tristan McCollum at all. I think as a tackler, he's okay. Back end coverage, not great. So I think the depth at safety is probably, and we talked about this a million times, is one of the worst I've seen. But I think, you just need to have this offseason program and get these guys going. Okay, Makuba and obviously Reed Blanchard will be your starting safeties this year. I don't think we're waiting for Makuba to start later, and I don't think they're signing a bridge safety. I think they really like Makuba, and they think he could start day one from what it sounds like. Okay, Sidney Brown needs to make a big push. We know special teams is good with him. If he needs to come in at to the safety spot, God knows for what reason. I really he needs to make a big push to really stamp himself in that safety room, and we can really rely on him in situations if we really need him. So I do like Sidney Brown a lot, and I think good things will come out of it. So we are hoping that Sidney Brown really balls out this offseason program. Okay. Now, that was the top 5 Eagles to really make big pushes. We'll go over more players, I think, that are already there that need to make an even bigger push going forward. But let me know what you guys think about the list in general. Who else do you think needs to make a bigger push in this offseason program? There's probably more guys I missed. Or probably a couple more I probably put on this video. Just don't want to make it too long because we probably would have hit over 25 minutes on this video. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. My top 5 Philadelphia Eagles making that big push in the offseason program. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Eagles news every single day, and make sure you hit the like button because it helps out the channel tremendously. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Shakes what up, follow slide, peace out, guys. Peace.